don't deserve to be forgiven for what I've done. We may have both done the same thing, but my motives, those were different, and so I don't regret what I did. And yet, if someone were to ask that there was some small part of me that wanted to see the results of my research, I could not deny it. Sal grabbed his shoes in the entryway and then headed for the back door. They didn't want the detectives in his living room to know he was going to meet with Makino. That pest Kajiwara was nowhere in sight. Now was his chance to slip away. Gotcha. Let's be the devil. Kajiwara has snuck up behind him. Are you going out? The detective asked. No. I was just... Sawa felt something inside his shoe. Glancing down, he saw a rubber duck stuffed inside it. Is this what you're doing? I laid a booby trap, or rather, a ducky trap. Originally a type of lethal trap used during wartime to catch clumsy or unwary soldiers' boobies. In modern parlance, however, the term frequently signifies a harmless prank. So just setting a blackboard eraser atop of a classroom door so that it falls into the head of whoever opens the door. Kajiwara beamed with self-satisfaction. You know, you act like a grade schooler, Osawa said. Indeed, sir. I am a grown man with a youthful heart. Leave it to Kajiwara to yet again miss the point entirely. With a sigh, Osawa tossed the duck at him. Kajiwara caught him nimbly in one hand, then stuffed it right into his pocket. I won't tell you that you aren't allowed to leave, sir. All I ask is that you tell me where you've been and where you plan on going. My work is highly confidential. I'm not at liberty to discuss just anything about... Please try to work with me on this, sir, Kajiwara interrupted. He leaned in uncomfortably close. Do you recall what I said before? But I'd appreciate if you didn't keep secrets from me. Sal hesitated inwardly, debating how much he should share. Sad to tell the truth, all right, I'll tell you, just leave me in peace. You need to keep this secret, doesn't concern you. I'm just going to buy some cigarettes. He lied. I mean, I guess it would be better just to tell the truth. He decided to tell the truth. All right, I'll tell you. Just leave me in peace. One of my colleagues is waiting for me outside. Who is it? I'm sorry, that's all I can say. Could you tell me a bit more about what you'll be discussing? Kajiwara leaned in even closer. His eyes twinkled with suspicion. I can't share corporate secrets, detective. Like how you don't tell me anything about the state of your investigation. It goes both ways. It might have been childish reasoning, but it worked in Kajiwara. Alright, the detective said. In that case, I have just one condition. Please take this with you. He produced something that looked like a small transceiver from inside his coat. What's this? It's a bug tracker, sir. It'll beep in response to a nearby listening device. I'm just going to meet someone from work. Don't need this. He pushed Kajiwara's hand aside and the bug tracker fell to the floor. So Osawa, you mustn't underestimate the lengths to which these kidnappers might go. For once, the detective's face was all seriousness. Alright, fine. Osawa snatched up the device and headed out the door. Kino's car was parked out front. The driver stood alongside it. Osawa exchanged a wordless greeting with him and got into the back, found Makino reclining in one of the luxurious leather seats. He looks like a bad guy. Now then, Makino said, what did you want to ask me about? Lighting a cigar, he glanced sidelong at Osawa. I was hoping you could explain the situation to me, sir. What situation would that be? So he was still going to beat around the bush even now? Osawa was impressed and urged to shout at him. Are you the one who let the Tavara out of the lab, sir? Yes, that was me. Kino didn't bat an eyelid. So why had he been so coy a few moments earlier? But how? The fingerprint authentication system is almost unbreakable. Getting access to the storage area would throw the opposite thought suddenly occurred to him. It was not strictly true that fingerprint authentication was the only means of entry. Osawa and Tanaka had both set up passwords as a failsafe in case an injured fingerprint somehow prevented them from operating the scanner properly. But these passwords were 10-character alphanumeric strings. No one could just haphazardly fumble their way in. Could Makino have sent a request to the electronic locks manufacturer and asked them to unlock it then? No, that required the approval of 6 board members. Osawa was one of those 6 people. There really seemed to be no way of getting in without leaving any trace. You're absolutely right, of course, Makino said with a grin as if reading his thought. I couldn't gain access to the lab without you and Tanaka, but I didn't have to. He exhaled a large plume of smoke. Do you remember when we released the samples for animal testing? No, it couldn't be. Osawa broke out in a sweat. Ah, but it could, Makino said. I had them divert some of the samples intended for animal testing. Naturally, that didn't leave any record of anything being taken from the lab. Osawa bit his lip hard. Couldn't help but feel betrayed by his company. But why? Makino let out a nasal one-note chuckle. You don't seem to grasp just how valuable this thing really is. What do you mean by that, sir? Makino lowered his voice. There's a major world power out there that has already weaponized the UA virus. For a moment, Osawa thought this was just a sick joke. The look on Makino's face told them otherwise. I've been informed that it was recently used on a military installation in the Middle East. Within 12 hours of dispersal, there were at least 800 casualties. 800? If included civilians, the number jumps to over 2,000. Any evidence of the disease agent at that bomb that delivered it has, of course, been covered up. Osawa listened to in amazement. He was outraged that any government would commit such an atrocity, not quite suppressing the excitement at discovering that the virus could be propagated by explosive means. He felt a flush of guilt at his own fascination. The antiviral you created, Osawa, has the potential to render this weapon useless. Right now, Okoshi Pharmaceutical possesses the sole means to combat UA. Makino's lips curled into a bossy grin. Any number of countries would love to get their hands on it. The major power in question is out for an unprecedented sum. And that's hardly surprise. Having a monopoly on the antiviral makes the weapon itself that much more valuable. To Osawa, this was a glimpse into another terrifying world, one he had barely imagined previously. So you wanted to get human testing over with as soon as possible, is that it? He spat. Makino shrugged. I explained full well to the locals what the risks of experimentation were, and they were paid in accordance with said risk. They willingly consented to infection with the UA virus. Sophistry, Osawa huffed. Nothing more. Use money to deceive a bunch of poor farmers. Come on, Osawa. Who's being disingenuous now? Makino eyed him with contempt and let out another puff of smoke. I know you, Osawa, and I know you're not really concerned for some bunch of pig farmers. All you care about is your research. The thing that's really nagging you right now is that someone went ahead and did the final clinicals without you. Oh, spare me that ridicule, sir. As a virologist, I have a moral duty to... To what? Makino barked. Go to the media with this? Do you have any idea how much money the company is throwing at your lab to keep it up and running? Osawa's lab has incurred expenses of roughly 30 billion yen in developing the antiviral medication. Okoshi Pharmaceutical spends approximately 200 billion yen per year on research and development. Osawa's work is the single most costly element of that budget. Osawa gaped. I do appreciate all the company has done for me, sir. He spoke so quietly that his voice was nearly inaudible. In any event, Makino said, now that you know about the human testing, I can't let you go to America. How do you know about that? He insisted that I keep his planned relocation a secret, but apparently she told her father regardless. If you insist on making the move anyway, I'll use any means necessary to stop you. Makino regarded Osawa with a bloodshot gaze. Any means necessary? Osawa swallowed the lump in his throat. Sir, you don't mean that my daughter's kidnapping was... Don't be ridiculous, Makino said before Osawa could finish. Of course that wasn't me. Nevertheless, I'll do what I must to keep you in line. Remember that. Understood, sir. I'll turn down the U.S. job offer. Osawa heard his own voice like the thin drone of a tiny insect. He felt utterly powerless. I can't simply take your word on that, Makino said. Do it now. I want to hear you do it myself. He jutted his jaw toward the phone in the backseat console. Alright, Osawa said. He had no choice but to fall in line. Couldn't this wait just a little bit, sir? Osawa asked. Maybe you can still find a way out. Felt like he has to. Alright, Osawa said. He had no choice but to fall in line. It would be around 10 p.m. local time with the American firm. He decided to call his contact's personal phone. The headhunter was shocked to hear that Osawa wanted to decline the position. When he pressed for the reasons behind the decision, Osawa hung up. Visibly relieved, Makino lit up a fresh cigar. Sir, there's one thing I don't understand. What's that? Osawa's head was feeling fuzzy. The smoke inside the vehicle had gotten extremely thick. Someone has this top secret information. Why won't they threaten the company as a whole? Why send those emails to me personally? I'm not Sure. There's an internal investigation already underway. We'll find the source of the leak soon enough. At this point, though, Osawa wasn't sure knowing who originally leaked the info mattered much at all to him. If you'll beg my pardon, then, sir, Osawa said. He put his hand on the door handle. A sudden, high-pitched chirp sounded from his pocket. The bug tracker Kajira had given him had picked up a signal. Is that your cell? Makino asked. Oh yes, that's mine. He hurriedly hopped out in the car and reached into his pocket. Is everything alright, sir? The driver was still waiting outside the car. He leaned toward Osawa, looking concerned. Was it you? Osawa stepped close to the driver. Did you send me those emails? What? What are you talking about, sir? Don't play dumb with me, Osawa said. You're the only person who could have planted a listening device in a company car. Listening device? The driver raised an eyebrow in confusion. What are you after? Sir, what are you talking about? Who told you to do it? Tell me! The driver fled back into the car. Osawa crushed the bug tracker hard as he watched the vehicle pull away. He went back to his house, still gripped by confusion, to find Ai waiting in the entryway. She must have gone home while he was out. You were with my father, weren't you? She sneered at Osawa as he stripped off his shoes. Yes, I was, he replied, and it's over. What's over? She knows damn well what. He struggled to contain his irritation. America, I'm not going, he huffed. Oh, really? Well, that is good news, she sounded sincerely pleased. God, I hate her. Now you'd be a little more pleased than Osawa cared for. I need to go finish up some work things, he mumbled. God. Hurry to steady up on the second floor. He threw himself down in front of his computer. There hadn't been any progress in the investigation as usual. Just how long was this all going to go on for? Were all kidnapping cases drawn out? A specialized victim support team belonging to the Special Criminal Investigation Unit has been deployed at Osawa's house. The members of this team are all specialists who have received training in such skills as negotiation, high-speed motorcycle and automobile driving, running phone traces, special communications, and phone records acquisition. Osawa was growing more and more uneasy. He could barely contain himself at this point. Wasn't there something, anything that he could do? He glanced over at this monitor. That's an idea. He could look up kidnapping investigations on the internet. That might give him some insight into the current situation. Kidnapping, police investigations, hostages. He typed the 3 keywords into the search field. The engine pulled up over 100,000 hits. He scanned the beginning of the list for anything that might be useful. One of the site links caught his eye. How the police do it? It looked like a page containing information on various types of police cases. He clicked on the link for kidnapping cases and began to read. Even if the hostage wound up safe in the end, the site confirmed him. The police lost face if the culprit got away. And if the hostage were killed and the kidnapper evaded capture, the media would have a field day. This made apprehending the suspect an absolute necessity. Even if a person's life was on the line when it came to a kidnapping case, the police prioritized making the arrest. Yep. Taking his hand off the mouse, Osawa sat back and thought. He wasn't going to be able to relax until he heard Maria's voice again. But if the police prioritized arresting the suspect, why were they just letting things stay in limbo now? Didn't they have the crooks under surveillance? He couldn't wrap his head around that. The internet hadn't been able to give him the info he'd hoped for after all. Unable to do anything for Maria, but wait, he turned his thoughts to how his opportunity to transfer to the US had passed him by. The research facilities in America would have been top tier. Some part of him still couldn't quite accept what had happened. He stole a quick look back at the door, then surfed to the Aya Kamiki fan community for people 40 and over. Whenever something was weighing on his mind, posting to these forums seemed to turn his mood back around. He knew that now wasn't really the time to be doing this, but he needed to do something to calm and quiet his mind. He started a new forum topic. In the title field, he wrote, Aya Kamiki expanding into the US. Aya Kamiki still at the height of her popularity. Does anyone else think it would be exciting if she ventured into the American market? I know I would. She's not the sort of artist who deserves to be confined to Japan. She should be recording in an American studio if that's what the industry's best. I'd to see her career really take off over there. He wound up getting into a little back and forth with himself. Hopefully he'd get a response from someone else soon. A sudden shrill noise startled him so much that he nearly cried out. His heart fluttered like that of a young child who's been caught in some prank. Realizing that the sound was coming from the bug tracker, he pulled it from his pocket, took a few breaths to steady himself. Evidently someone had bugged to steady as well. Tracker in hand, he walked toward the center of the room. What direction was their signal coming from? He tried heading over toward the window. Here, maybe? Next, he headed over to his desk. You too? The bug tracker was picking up signals from all over the room. Have there been that many listening devices planted in here? Mr. Osawa? It's Kajiwara. Ah, perfect timing. Osawa hurried to let the detective into the study. The bug tracker is picking up signals. Oh. Yes, from all over the room. What should I do? Mr. Osawa, please come down. As if that's even possible right now. Feels like there must be 10, no, maybe 100 listening devices in here. Kajiwara didn't miss a beat. Let me be honest with you. That bug tracker is broken. What? Osawa was dumbfounded. Broken? But this is the one I got from you, right? Oh, yes. Well, mine isn't detecting anything. Kajiwara produced an identical bug tracker from his pocket, and as you'd said, it wasn't getting any signal. As I recall, Mr. Osawa, that one was dropped on the floor when I was trying to hand it to you. Ah, yes, that's right. That must have been when it broke, sir. The strength ebbed from Osawa's body. He didn't even have the mental energy to be angry anymore. He gave the tracker a whack with the palm of his hand, and the beeping stopped. Right, he said. What can I do for you? Kajiwara clapped his hands together as if he just remembered something. Ah, right, we have a big problem. The toilet again. Osawa sighed. Again? No, it's not that. It's something worse. Kajiwara's face turned grim. Something worse? Something happened to Maria. I need to hear the detective out there. There was no way it could be that important. Osawa didn't need to... Okay. Has something happened to Maria? You need to hear the detective out. What is it? Osawa asked. Go on, tell me. He did his best to remain composed. Well, you see... He ordered lunches for everyone. Looked like there were 2 still left over, so I wound up eating them. There was an awkward pause. Osawa didn't have the foggiest idea of how to respond. My deepest apologies, sir. I ate the lunches intended for you and your wife. Kajiwara bowed profusely, and I really do need to apologize. There were tonkatsu bento boxes, and they were delicious. The meat was so tender, and the batter so crisp. With each and every bite, the rich flavor just filled my mouth more and more. Osawa felt a blood vessel burst in his skull. Listen, you get your goddamn act together, or didn't get to finish that thought. A pathetic little gurgle sounded from his stomach. Ah, see, Kajiwara said. You are hungry. He fussed sheepishly with his hair. The talk of food, Osawa realized abruptly that he hadn't eaten anything since the night before. Should I make something for you? The detective asked. This is all my fault, after all. You can cook? Osawa wasn't sure how thrilled he was with the idea of Kajiwara helping him. You wasn't judge people based on outward appearance, Mr. Osawa. Alright, fine. Go right ahead then. His newfound hunger was making it hard for him to think. It would certainly behoove him to eat something. He led Kajiwara to the kitchen. Okay. What's that get up? Wearing an apron in the kitchen is a must, sir. The cartoon character printed on the apron Kajiwara is wearing is one of his own design. It is modeled after the MPD's mascot. His name is Pinpoken. Alas, it isn't while I'm naked. Naked? Oh, are you not familiar with the concept of the naked apron? Oh, God. Instead of being entirely naked save for an apron, a form of cosplay, the views from the front, rear, and sides all offer a certain appeal. Precaution must be advised as it may be difficult to stop arguing about which represents the loveliest sight once the topic is raised. There are similar, more sexualized naked styles as well, such as the naked sock, the naked shoe, naked necktie, naked ribbon, naked scarf, naked collar, and so forth. I could demonstrate if you... Oh, that's quite alright. Where'd you get that apron anyway? It's mine, sir. Have you had it with you this whole time? Yes, in here. With a smile, Kajiwara pointed to his pocket. Of course, Osawa eased himself into a chair. His hunger was making him feel weak, and Kajiwara was making him feel like he was losing his mind. Oh, this is bad, the detective said. I need to whip something up for you fast. Something's definitely wrong if you don't even have a comeback. Osawa felt his anxiety mounting. What sort of food was this insufferable oaf going to make anyway? Probably nothing worth eating was his bet. For now, he just have to pray he wound up with something edible. Maybe it was better to ask Tanaka to make him lunch instead. Since Aya's lunch was gone as well, he should probably ask her to make something. I don't trust Aya, for now, he just have to pray he wound up with something edible. Kajiwara appeared into the refrigerator. Goodness, you are remarkably understocked, he said. Let's see, could you please put these in the dinger, Mr. Osawa? Deigned for the sound a microwave oven makes when it has finished eating your food? The microwave at my house doesn't really go ding when the timer reaches 0, though. It's more just a beep, but it doesn't make sense to call a microwave a beeper when there's already a word that refers to something else. The detective handed Osawa some frozen lumps of rice. The dinger? What the heck is a dinger? The microwave oven, sir. Osawa stepped in front of the microwave. Fortunately, he had no idea how to work the controls. You should thaw that rice out as soon as possible, Kajora told him. I'm actually not sure how to operate. Do you know how to do anything? You don't know how to plunge a toilet? You don't know how to work a microwave? What? The detective gasped. You don't know how to use a microwave? Osawa could only nod in silent shame. It should be just as simple as turning the dial. Wait, which one? That one, sir. The one on the right? Osawa turned the dial and crossed his arms with a satisfied grin. Mr. Osawa, you need to put the rice in first before you do that. Well, then why didn't you say that? Osawa snapped. I've never worked in the kitchen of my life. Don't ask me to do things that are this difficult. Very well. I'll handle this from here. Why don't you get out the bowls and the chopsticks then, sir? I have no idea where the hell those are kept. Oh my gosh, do you do anything in this house? Kajura let out a heavy sigh. Alright then, please just sit and wait, sir, he said. And here, take this. Kajura pulled out a sheet of bubble wrap from his pocket. Use your fingers to pop the bubbles. That should help you calm down. Too drained to argue. Osawa did as prompted, starting to pop his way along the sheet. Oh, God. Rather than calm him down, though, it was making him incredibly cross. This felt more like a sort of ridiculous punishment. They say you can learn a lot about a household by looking in the fridge, you know. Kajura was cooking something in a frying pan. And Osawa asked, just what have you learned about mine? Better not say, sir. You might take offense. Osawa snapped another bubble between his fingers. Ah, the rice is finished thawing. Kajura topped the steaming bowl of rice with a fried egg he'd whipped up in his pan. And as it were an afterthought, he added some pickled vegetables. Here you are, sir. Your fried egg and rice is complete. One of Kajura's simple recipes. Others include his white spaghetti, which is simply spaghetti that's been flavored with butter, salt, and pepper after it's been boiled. Both are a bit too basic to be properly called cuisine, but it does take a certain skill to bring the best flavor out of the ingredients with such simple seasonings. Oh, this is making me hungry. Kajura grinned from ear to ear. Go ahead and eat it while it's still warm. Sara received the bowl with a dubious look. You're not very good at cooking, are you? He said. All you had in your refrigerator were eggs and pickled vegetables, sir. I assure you, it's quite delicious. I go on breaking the yolk and mixing it all together. Reluctantly, Osawa brought a bite to his mouth. That's good. The word came out almost unbidden. Isn't it just? Egg yolk and pickled vegetables pair quite well. Osawa couldn't help but stuff his face, stepping into a rapturous daze as he did. The more he ate, the more it stirred his appetite. I had no idea fried eggs could be this delicious. I know you probably have a long ordeal still ahead of you, sir. Well, please keep your chin up and hang in there. Kajuro gave Osawa an amiable smile. Oh, that's right, he continued. And for dessert, we have bananas. No, thank you. Kajuro grimaced as Osawa held up a hand in refusal. Right then, when you're finished eating, would you please wash the bowl? Me? Wash dishes? Osawa exclaimed in surprise. Sounded like a petulant child. Someone else cooks for you. You should do the cleaning up. It's only up polite. Fine, okay. While Osawa was doing the dishes, the bug detector went off again. Director, if you have a moment, Tanaka poked his head into the kitchen. I've got something urgent to discuss with you.